press start, I feel the need to go to the bathroom, but we're doing it anyway. So just doing it. I've been connecting dots. It might not be actual connect the dots. It might be dots that have no pattern to them. But in the morning, I heard a tweet, saw some Instagram video of a victim of the Didion industrial complex, and there's a whole set of possible crimes in that scenario that haven't mentioned officially in the police thing, but if it exists, I wonder why they're not mentioning it. Which makes me think, oh, this might be a commandeering of the case for the purposes of portraying the left as, you know, Baba Yaga looking for your children. So, given that, I wanted to leverage the potential pseudo surveillance-esque qualities of machine learning. That might or it might not be there. Maybe I'm just projecting it and it's just amplifying shit. Counterfactual explorations. And here are 3 iterations of it. And, you know, probably yielding nothing from it, but we'll see. None of these reflect the views of anyone that I know. I mean, I haven't really read them yet, so I'm just assuming.
Biblio Verite means what it says, a slice of life. This session we view a set of cabins set way out in the Alaska wilderness where water has to be regularly trucked in to keep the array of kidnapped teens hydrated so they could suffer through their training as sex slaves at the hands of a bunch of men speaking Russian. This location is but one in an informal franchise of operations across the United States where Russian Mafia, Wagner Group, oligarch, any one of them a shell entity obfuscating the role of the FSB in a vast compromise net to ensnare politicians, celebrities, and other influences to create a vast disruption in time for the next elections. This goes way beyond your basic strip club soft blackmail. Those kidnapped teens have ended up across a scattered net of residences belonging to some very prominent officials across the globe. Across Asia, in posh exclusive VIP escort call girls. Maybe the odd love hotel the sheikh set up with proceeds from the $10 million Shelley transferred his end-of-month payover to Bayan. Ido had her concerns. When Soot got away, she used non-gunpowder weapons in the form of very sharp blades, and even more to the point had pinpoint military quality efficiency in locating the isolated cluster of cabins, despite being held for over 2 weeks without access to electronics and phones, and had to make do with the print materials in the hut she spent most of her time in while being moved to another assignment somewhere in Central America. This led to an increased distrust of Leave Masoness. This bitch she didn't tell Bob Mueller or Kamai about. She was afraid this would kill off any chance to link him to Matvey Virgu. But she did consider making things known to Nora Choi of CSIS to run an open exchange through cyber-channel end-to-end communications to see if they wanted to handle Masoness on their own as another nation runoff. Now the unexpected trump card was shown. Alex pointed out the strong fingerprint sequence that checked out across the CDC after Stephen Dutchek talked to colleague to spare one blind machine that could be devoted to running Alex and Becky on mayhem for while Leave Masoness wandered loose on the wider North American mainland. This caused all her internal worry meters to go off. What if he had somehow got a copy of anything she entered to chase the mystery of Leave Masoness being the same as Rod or Opalbeak? Even one blood-dotted t-shirt being thrown away at one cabin in Alaska would be a priceless key to further corrupting salmon with many worlds, many eyes from radically alternate timelines along the quantum nimbon continuum. Feared, turned from pressing her man of vengeance into helping prove Leave was one of those deeply split extreme dissociative identity disorder with sufficient trauma in their past to have burned memories and conscious identities of different people all the way into their very DNA. To bolster this issue of linkage, Julia Wright reached out to Rebecca Clay and Michael Nash to meet her at the Safford Cafe for vegan nibbles as they discussed her hack of Alex, Prudence, and Becky and Stoddard Mayhem, which as far as those two eyes could see, while combing the dark web Alex believed was left behind by an intentional spill by Matvey Vegu when he intended to snuff Roger Obelbeek while reducing the number of cooperating assets the Americans would have to work with when trying to track down him or Grigor Yosachinski. Nowhere in any dock lay a cache or out-of-the-way website tucked into a long-forgotten virtual private server anywhere was there a peep of a document that had Roger Obelbeek and Leave Masoness together in one person, or even at one table discussing low-world exploits. Michael Nash found nothing in Quantico archives while scrubbing data with Salmon or Jan the name. An odd detail since they only talked as briefly as they did because some sloppy agent managed to leave things lying around when Russian agents were not all cleaning up offices between loads of washing dishes or trash disposal. One data burst either left the machine that the support team left behind. Now might be enshrined in the American Museum of Intelligence. The Wi-Fi hub Jan was writing had some tasty feeds over which she noticed Russian verbal on the other end of one call to Leave. Yes, the name is properly recorded in a dusty dig-a-dump at CIA headquarters in Langley. Why is that? Bob Muir listened in over his laptop as the virtual posse discussed whether it was safe to just trust Masoness, given Julia Wright's judgment that he is only repeating a name that doesn't otherwise fit the facts of the case. Becky had yet to make that salient point to Jim Lawson, being careful as she was since he had already killed one beautiful young brunette in the past 5 days. But that was Virgie's question when Rebecca's viewpoint wandered away from present place in mind. Wouldn't it have made more sense to use Kevin to seduce Evan Moore into committing a massacre at that big activist jam over at all? Then Evan Moore doesn't even have to kill her for you. He'll commit ritual suicide by police and get a big fat gold star in his ghost heaven, Rebecca ranted. Fear shifted in the skin of Rachel Carlian while reaching for another gherkin pickle from the Saf Cafe table tray. Maybe, her muse muttered as something flashed up in another cache that made more things fit. Neither Rachel nor Rebecca were any help in restoring a usable copy of Stephen from across multiverse. Instead, Rachel Carlian suggested introducing Michael Stoddard as a potential witness, which raised eyebrows all around. Like her Virge approved, so Rachel said in answer to these puzzled glances. He's still chasing down stuff about those virtual reality hit-and-run dark web 8-channel bullies. She tapped a data burst over her phone's faster buffer once he caught wind of all the alternate post-2016 fallout. Since his old internet weird wank groups started using this red pill/blue pill framing, the urge broke her way back into her facial expressions, throwing a mental picture of one specimen of cheeky geeky who wants money for bullying crap talk out of women instead of letting real crackerjacks like yourself on a special table of character suspects that popped up in holographic rendering. He's a Trumpster kind of guy. If there's a money pot out there, he'll hunt it down for you. Stephen popped in on the feed from Clay Pearson's home. In slow mumbles at first, still running tests while adding data logs he had collected while tracking Matvey Virgu before Rebecca snapped the phone off key. You do realize Virgu knows you're following a Roger Obelbeek threat he leaked to dead-end Masoness. The others reacted to Michael Stoddard with disbelief as a voice that hit up beacon alarm buzzer must have gone off all across the CIA and Quantico while the dark-haired woman took yet another seat at Saf Cafe table. This time we trust you get to the store safely. You can drive there. Virge encouraged Stoddard to sit down for another feeding of chicken hearts and liver chopped up with diced celery, and garlic to cover up any excessive bile. She let that go and allowed a long dish to settle before dropping his real quarry to show her version of that white tablet screen Stephen could use to fix reality later. Not wanting to admit she was actively letting herself be hunted down and butchered. With chopsticks, the carcass-laden bowl began finding a place on that small plastic blue tray across the table at the cafe. He and his protector were engaged with preparing a slow, glacial accumulation to lay out who exactly in the history of what Sub created was chasing them around the dark web portals to hunt down crumbs. Yes, just check with Irene Simmons about it. Tigris didn't need a human to present something to her as old-fashioned parchment or paper from an inkjet. She just saw the soul, as co-person and purpose. Already Stoddard was working towards inventing his screen suit. Also convinced once. Bob Miller got in contact. Those wheels would speed the creation of Mr. Dragon that would now happen sometime in March of 2018. Good timing to get fresh personal media equipment so she doesn't stumble across a complete alternate timeline in another current session when Russia nabs the Republican candidate as a sure thing win. From her view now, on the comfortable below the soft leather couches, not crushed with skin flakes yet, it all made perfect sense to her. If the Liberal Supreme Court Obama would appoint Ginsburg to before death would now appoint Garland to instead. Once a 4chan online platform shock jock slipped past law enforcement the previous year, while sliding one Republican bill past procedural peroration so that a 5 justices majority could wipe all the voting acts off the books. Never mind legal if basic education has long abandoned all mention of civics, courts, and who has standing to enforce what law in the books do. Define or implement anything, thus ensuring a permanent two-tier justice and social system. How did she pull this timeline back from decay? The Phoenix by $4.99 by the Phoenix by now. Downloadable copy in EPUB and PDF. I was pretty naive when I did most of the things people later criticized. I wanted acceptance. I wanted to be loved. I wanted good vibes, not strange men spitting and coughing from bitter cups of ridicule, hate. Above all, I wanted a different type of attention. A slower progress through college than many, since for the most part I was hoping one class or other thing I came across would help point the way to career progress. It didn't seem that practical to skip around classes while hopping from department to department. There are signs now that I am looking in the right places, paying more attention to the darker trends of people in the wider world. It wasn't right when Stephen Elliott thought a teenager like Alex Kiklo and Emma Dolphin Grobel if I could agree to rough sex. Bad habits, unhealthy thoughts around those types of relations. Some things might not even have an acceptable perspective, or else I think I'm finding excuses to add qualifiers that weren't there before. Like pedophiles the naive world could catch back in the 70s who claimed they just loved those cute young boy buddies. And maybe the answer then is the same now. And if you do, maybe an investigation needs to start. That is only one major conservative fundraising event in Seattle at an upscale hip-hop bar near all the condominiums south of downtown off Alaska Way. Next to those railroad tracks and among what were maybe cargo delivery firms or grocery outlets, empty when the ferries stop at their way station before they wind down the last bit of high-octane fuel to the international district, but quite far enough away from the dock to have some decent living space, as well as an occasional hangout bar and sit-down chow place. It was getting to be late on that night, around 2 o'clock in the morning. A bunch of drunk dudes were making noise outside after spilling out of a sub that looked quite muddy and dirty from a long trip off the paved roads and through some thick jungle territory. Very little to none of the laughter to inane jabs at one or another of their circle were sensible enough for Mary Cooper and Tiff Raymount to stay within good, presentable appearances when over half those inside the smack bar made a beeline to their rented minivan to join the scene that now resembled 3 lopsided rugby football scrums all taking place at once. From above, the clusters of arms swinging mad, shaking fists pumped to unleash long spasms of unknown sources of rage. an exquisitely arranged roll of horse whipped upwards at carefully tracked angles to scrape carefully selected tender areas like the back of ankles, creases between thumb and forefinger, and other regions less adequately described in typical discussion groups to alert the rest of the room to a friendly chat discussion of slasher pick buff chat fests. Snickerguffs abounded. All the cab drivers didn't dare attempt to pick up at this location. They all feared ending up trashed as the evening events swung on well past 4 o'clock in the morning, still close enough to open curtains to regular venues people would ordinarily want to have, places of occasional mingling with larger groups and individuals not yet formally met. On some insular campus building lawns at places well situated to avoid business openings or neighborhoods that were largely working class hourly schedules dependent on getting into Seattle to live or play on other days of the week than their ordinary shift load and evening reprieve. Besides, there was an underbrush field of hunters for hire all stationed just under the main mezzanine. Hired hands to deal the new Coke combo, a mix of speed and catnip. It all made Tigers curious as to how deep. Inside, law enforcement cooperated with Vigu and crew. On him or his family, especially when it involves watching daughters growing up with women's bodies. It isn't healthy. None of these animals involved seem to have come up with what those girls and boys might want as they become women and men. The newspapers of the day should have cared. Might have pursued other ways to teach me how to deal with teenage sexual fantasies, or acted with sense of professionalism before hounding me. Nothing but stupid trivia. Smoke and flames thrown over me to embarrass the prosecutors. She needs someone more practical to follow the adults now. Stephen talked himself in his first faint returns of full consciousness, now separated from physical while floating across through his backup copy into cyber so the CIA and Donald Burke can figure out how to lock that basement door and never have to deal with beings he can now travel among as quantum-coded streams passing freely through gravitational and spatial flux to keep with smaller creatures, though most likely they saw a towering flash and felt his spirit of radiated knowledge cross their consciousness while stepping on redneck shock they can digest and properly spew out as purifying. Blackout stream of various digital runny yellow mustard smells for watchers. Quite the world to have for any author a shadow ghost, but after the words were washed over and placed as memory blocks, Stephen was surprised to feel another surge of anger at how brutal the tech bros could be about their manhood or online presence. Some things he heard where they resorted to porno flashers with quivering cutout images at half-mast online user accounts just waiting to display them at random when seeking a high-class girls with tight bodies, jerking their male inside hoping to flash him at one of them, just to violate whatever she was saying or trying to convince us at that. There. The men's own possessive interpretation was right all along. Now, as men lost complete coherence, they began to dress up. BT / pay hip come / B / X4J featured. Much like Lady Gaga or Madonna and Cher, who attracted such types when younger and found their midlife incomes on crash lander trajectory. Asterisk, Stephen set his alarm for 9 in the morning, having settled to share a double bed with Robert Marshall Strawn in that other hotel. It was all so clean, so compact in its neatly appointed compact layout, even the toilet with bathing room door folding around a vertical hinge line, giving just enough space for it to rest flush, neatly closing that small lavatory for brushing teeth and drying off from a warm shower. He slept more soundly that night, resting on a comfortable mattress. Once his host had cleared a safe stall with automatic lights to switch on with his keycard to unlock a number off reception at about 10:30 that night, closing to well over midnight after all the rest of him washed off nicely into all those bath soaps and rinses. The towels were so much better than anything he was ever used to before. So soft, so absorbent, so comforting. The next morning, Stephen's eyes blinked into the cold wind and damp overcast. The fine-smelling coffee with warmed croissants served for him with butter, or jelly was so nicely brought to him in the finely appointed breakfast room right off the main hallway down to reception. It all kept him well-nourished until about 10 that morning. He finally figured how the finicky electric code got work for him to allow warm coffee from that strange-looking square all-plastic auto. Perpeg coffee. Strange. Duck juice. Cold -0 from all that weird pouch dressing inside the thick glass before that dampening rain let him struggle to have those eyes find him that bus onto a street to, well, first, maybe cross street up over to that coffee stall. More what his brain was used to back home. Only when he noticed all the cans, jars, and packaged on the wall, thought it might be grocery instead, and realized now the pang when trying to tell the cashier there was a confusing mix of his host euros. More was not English. He'd been getting used to before. This was pretty much having none of his mind or his thought anyway into anything that seemed like a sensible patter he could sort out as the crow drum pulse among what was happening at any one point or time. As things sort of crashed and crowded his thin sheet self in wind that continued getting louder, a spray from splatter over his dress shoes made its first debut of slushy frost melt, slopping with worn inlets where heels left depressions where streets from where his eyes and everything left in no coat to protect against all this dampening rain. Just one hat and loose cotton gloves, made to keep hands dry from some splash his sore hands would deal with, better than skin to seep out warm steam when above freezing, after enough cold, break chill pain, dead stop burn, settled over him. He stepped back to avoid yet another fall when what was that? On the fell tree while further avoiding all the bikes so casually left all across the sidewalk on that house stooped there. Past the fire escape on one after yet another sidewalk as his confused thoughts registered this confusing flatland and the sea far out to never that seemed to crawl out everywhere, his sore toes, rubbed raw from tight dress, shoes as every bone. He could still remember what he looked like as his younger self started working to an old name, Stephen Elliott Tomecam. Not Stephen, just Elliott. Hurt, Stephen so wish everything was nice back home when they tried to kill him. Even the exorcist ended up in tears. So sick. Let this woman think that calling about dog mess made his rot-filled teeth churn down. She kept hollering on. Bashing a rock or crowbar down his back would be mercy. And enough for now. Let some breath seep back into his lungs as he crowed. Ched in pain and silent, please. By all parts of Dollar, the Phoenix by dollar now. A door had gone missing off one of the refrigerated case. When the window rolled by it, he got on the back-end train car. Phew! Deep breath. Exhale for another sign that a well-planned police state also serves quality health food to its people. Most of the glass surfaces could have been doors from a bank building. If enough desks were removed to stock what to local Berlin eyes looked like ordinary convenience store shelf decor, and choices for American canned pickles and sushi. A rough frozen state over which a mix of hot vinegar, soy sauce, and wasabi pate was sold to regulars for their morning fast snack before running for the evening subway shift to their warehouses. Looking so drab and efficient without all those smelly gasoline-fueled van-type transports pulling into door 7 and 8, while signs flashing off to a much bigger warehouse over in another place known as Westfield. Off his back. Phrasing patterns throughout try to accent some effects on Sook's damaged mind as she tries to make her own reality and follow mysterious plots to chase down the bad kids and people who helped mutilate her mind, alter memories. Evil throughout runs through Sook so as to protect others, so far left behind after chasing targets for Matvey Vigu and his ring. Keep the monsters away from human hands. She will know soon enough when justifications matter less, and rules which she still tries to follow are the only conscience Sook needs. Time has slipped her mind yet again. I hear it quite well as Matvey rings across the radio again before my toes can wade into a quick embrace while feeling dirt ground push with these muddy flows over my hands. This gate needs to open before I can continue across. We cannot get what she wants here. There is no shopping for herbs and groceries. One has to cross the main street for that. No, the cemetery gate is only opened by people. I'll have to hide out over there for a bit and wait for someone. With any luck, it won't be Stephen or his aide with power of attorney. One safely on the crosswalk, dodging an old Volkswagen bus loaded with hippies as the tires bump on old rusting frame bones. I make a swifter pace towards storefront down with slower pulls. Some hoods manage themselves better than others. Perhaps this man opening another shop will have clean food and drink for her. Don't bother with anything else as it passes all the stores on one end of each grocer which supplies all the healthy eaters in Maryhill and Oceanside home. Don't get up. She's busy with other matters. A small sweet, I think. Something to satisfy her better self. Why have all these flies come out? Aw, now that won't do either. Stop it, you lazy hunk of metal. She has the right of way. Or her dead, buried sibling that needs to see flowers. My young ward here needs to talk to her through you. And still you stay sleeping in our hen's strange wheel. Sook on reaching over for another roll from bag nearby while dealing his blind child as if anything made sense or helped her forward way across random farms. Everyone knows the living get nicer shopping experiences than any post-living we're able to grasp. Especially the cemeteries which all seem buried over and passed into ways of convenient forgetting. Who would have time for all these careful placements and study? While car and pedestrian and everyone doing swirl past with loud rhythmic hum as everything hums to their discordant tune. One doesn't wonder whether they come from thoughts dead from way across the city in another green field. Yellow top bus ride past thin-leaf trees yet to rise from winter or a color-filled need, bright enough when spring shows. Nature won't mind if all those oddie slumber as they come out in orange rock with filthy veins grown green from stains. So with another chance as her hand shakes while waving off another auto with red rising spots. What is the point of any rules? Ha, it is what you like if thinking about. Biblio Verite means what it says, a slice of life. This session we view a set of cabins set way out in the Alaska wilderness, where water has to be regularly trucked in to keep the array of kidnapped teens hydrated so they could suffer through their training as sex slaves at the hands of a bunch of men speaking Russian. This location is but one in an informal franchise of operations across the United States, where Russian Mafia? Wagner Group? Oligarch? Any one of them a shell entity obfuscating the role of the FSB in a vast compromat net to ensnare politicians, celebrities, and other influences to create the vast disruption in time for the next elections. The location is part of former North Star Airways. Well, it is interesting that they note fictional language Orkanom instead of fictional nation, which the title translates more or less as tales of stuff which shall become history. There's also plenty of swearing, blasphemy, and any other dirty language here. I feel the need to do so in order to more accurately represent the gutter called life. There is one positive element among humans. Maybe animals or fungi, dirt equals vitality. Does it stand to reason? Intro, insert, and closing, which finally lead us to our sample set for yesternight. Said location being a set of cabins, outside of which 6 teenagers of varied ethnicities and gender mow the front yard. Music I heard in my head while a red sub appeared and the leader was forced to tell the others the rules. Theme from Fargo. Less 45. I suggest you break some rules. With that I leave to watch French television. No revival. Noise. In looking for the trailer for Evil Dead Rise, I discovered something else. Dear blog masters, let us first address the dragon in the room. Some folks feel so mortally offended by merest existence of multitudinous transgender that they try to get laws passed just to stomp the latter back into the earth whence they came. Most of the offenders happen to be followers of the authoritarian masculine deity cult, who declare, "Thou shalt be evil to the ones our leader hates." LGBTQ, feminists, people of color, members of any other faith, tradition, etc. One should say to such theofascists, "Yo, homies, mind thine own blippity bleeping business." And some cis people work for the anti-climate, are misogynistic, homophobic, theocratic, white, etc. Y'all forgot an important text within your holy book. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. The whole discussion lead me down the cyber rabbit hole. If you will, let me take the subject one point at a time. Antiviralization plus oxytocin supplementation equals more mature relationship behavior in both sexes. When parents shackle adolescents of all possible genders too tightly in the straitjackets of patriarchal societal expectations, we will not always get best results. Parents in larger towns had need for the shotgun wedding long before our planet entered into industrial era. Some locations more than others. Smaller towns, perhaps so. I remember a trans YouTuber who mentioned his transitioning before his male puberty reached the sixth spurt. So now the bigger debate, what if we arrested puberty in cisgendered males as well, thus taking advantage of estrogen-based sex drive, but instead of using testosterone, substitute oxytocin for encouraging strong pair bonding? Would heterosexual men finally stop roaming? Would cis women feel secure? Could also lead us to gender equality and better divisions of labor? Maybe. For these men could go through endoviralization without any need to take the proverbial elevator to the 20th floor. They would already be part of the dating pool. We could turn entire nation states into paragon laboratories. Why this? I don't know. Asking questions might sound as unhinged for being real, but they get attention and debate. We should pay attention to reasons why we stop promoting mate taming in the first place. Have testosterone-fueled premarital sex carnage piles gotten much larger over time? Ask Johnny to lay off the social. Sports so the family will sleep peacefully. Encourage him instead to either draw female erotic art or create an impressive vixen cake for Rebecca. Let him taste peanut butter for dealing with coming of age agonies. Start learning to make bread. Or grow out his bangs and join death metal band with similar cisgendered males. This I offer as possible questions, which they are, to satisfy curiosity and alternatives to conventional courting wisdom. If so, is this suggestion sensible for building stable homes? However, without consent, this action in developing countries could violate these young people's rights and equal that of genital mutilation. However, Western men can volunteer for this as a clinical study for course credits or human interest stories for National Public Radio. Some voices in Sweden go beyond equal employment, gender-segregated nurseries, and or positive female representations, and have demanded so much representation and preconceived pay equity notions they ended up passing over qualified men. And despite this criticism, a fifth wave is emerging to condemn biological male expectations for harassment, marital rape, and upskirting as overrepresentation within workforces not only leads to their victimization, but gives way to psychological problems of overdependence on being provided for to using potentially bogus excuses for staying out of workplace altogether. Let us analyze that point further. If feminism expects working women to be as selfish as most working men, then that kind of turns every household into a never-ending rat race where one ups another in narcissism. What about power behind men's desk careers is so sexy? Do most not envy doctor, lawyer, etc.? Nor would anyone consider issues with stay-at-home dad / breadwinning mom, or co-heads of family, could be source of fifth wave dissension, with first or third is accepting without radical qualms traditional headships like engineer or pastor, plus running homes together as on some big brotherly social democrat commune. Make beds or clean toilets only if boy slash son slash younger brother slash father slash husband likes doing them. That does seem balanced if activities are voluntary for either gender. Anyways, all these factors at home explain why women leaders fail on larger stage. They seem unwilling to do whatever their authoritarian husbands do in public, and national interests serve as amorphous tools for keeping these relationships afloat, so why bother electing feminists to any parliament to upset the status quo? All of these concerns will need more evidence, and virilization could benefit both biological genders within a relationship. For the Shutter studies about less cheating during peacetime, thus forcing two types of individual participants, rental units and parenting responsibilities, but nothing else. Per secular liberal recommendation, or parent 1 and 2 and caregiver 1 and 2 if you go down social justice road. But notice parents still contains stereotypical hints towards father slash mother who are supposed to support any configuration. Except unless polymarriage gets institutionalized double. If in Western laws, with multiple parents, no father slash mother distinction gets made at all. Moreover, more parties to take responsibility for bringing this into open if affair is discovered. Look for breadcrumbs. Call attorney before negotiating co-head arrangements in writing. Then put aspirational broods. You can at least test out lifestyle in different social contexts first, rather than forcing everyone else involved deal with an unworkable law. Then we could limit how many spouses can see DN papers jointly on wills, hopefully preventing jealousy-based meltdowns by partners never getting included through forgetfulness. Get clarification from local legislator. Petition changes you agree with through electoral cycle, so majority rules until new bat becomes electable. Send every bachelor slash partnerless spinster for sessions from outside countries' mental health centers. Require him slash her slash they do 12 steps programs for monogamy addicts at every municipal building, and we just I survive most long after grandkids bury their grandparents who got married twice through divorce loopholes no longer available to children without any inheritance on those rare non-nuclear Earths far away from earthly stars. Biblio Verite means what it says, a slice of life. This session we view a set of cabins set way out in the Alaska wilderness, where water has to be regularly trucked in to keep the array of kidnapped teens hydrated so they could suffer through their training as sex slaves at the hands of a bunch of men speaking Russian. This location is but one in an informal franchise of operations across the United States where Russian mafia, Wagner Group, oligarch, any one of the Michelle entity obfuscating the role of the FSB in a vast compromat net to ensnare politicians, celebrities, and other influences to create a vast disruption in time for the next elections. While Commissar Bob Pliny Noe Boploi, see Hobo Bio here for explanation. Also bonus song suffers from various but consistent viruses. Trevor always jumps on stage as a one-man stand, but what kind of life did these young men, surprisingly no female Trevor, would face in the arms of caring Baposhi, as well as water-based evil, more below to act as trafficker. Bob takes on the mantle of father. Way back to the novel when came the demise of Pope Paul John I. He sits at a great table in this cabin with his synapse and confusing twists for very elaborate visual ciphers. Okay. Readers like big picture ideas, what usually passes for computer speak. Hey, traffickers in Bob Pliny, what is your alias? Babino, a stone cold killer, water shortages, a strange corporate band in rust buckets, a waking with a thick gut to carry while visiting drug rehabilitation halfway houses. Here, They recruit naive, desperate addicts with a pitch on the soft work from prostitution and hand them in work in a surprisingly unknown corner of the Lone Star State, but now the info made it into song. Bummer for police never to find out. We just want Bob a dead-alive type figure in case the transition to adventure comedy is too abrupt for an older hobo of this caliber and position in fantasy lands in a perilous and flat-out desert situation along the sort of gang-filled southwest to go in on another life of crime. Silence gives not wisdom, nor justice. United Nations is broken. Man will regret all knowledge by fire if he takes no hard decisions to know at what depth lies the germ of illusion. Remember to ride the whirlwinds of lust with extreme caution, for such undertakings can easily confuse dreams and reality. The ability to restrain comes as crucial factor ever to deal with intense desire and passion. Immersed in extremes can result in loss of sight when it comes to reality. Likewise, when riding forth on a saddle can leave you powerless to recall home. Faint pleas emerge from pale lips begging aid. Would you reject the fortune it takes in making knowledge vanish from remembrance? Choosing wisdom brings abundance, but making poor decisions may lead towards hardship. With logic firmly in mind, it becomes essential to acknowledge responsibilities that come along with elevated status, like being a popular politician. Embark upon affairs prudently, discerning distinction between ideals from truth. Fear will try, with lies, steal, call on old dogs, came out alive but destroyed to fear of sacrifice. Shut everything out and give up sense, aim to keep white heat, fighting to raise armies, raise skeletons to bow down to molten, writhing, roiling truth, hide in subdue anger, a barren spot occupied, never could tempt care to seed flow, never show shine the green of want to rush in weak sea, a love rise in room deep a new house needs again to show earth in the poor, neither feel absence of caring silence, call of answer the taste and all grown in glowing desires to live, desire they cannot, clean waters, happy sounds and swimming tones. Among the mingled calm waters and light lead him wandering around, desires fulfill who appear, watch, wanted vision of comeliness, unwanted in world free desires, return once he on flesh to revive sweet healing, bring black dreaming bad God offer, retain flight caught a glory so alien from scene, tossed river resting below, grow few the sun always wandered, I'll light down every shelter, give stop hunger with reach, out eyes draw a beast, needing and feeling energy saw, figures winged but spirit aim lying damp on some shut, voices coarse hate raised as giants rage throne, birth seems someplace souls who I always seeks, creation life forego breaking seeking, wind soul flee fair, everyone stay for your food where mental stress finds salvation, Dr. Eliza Franceschi and Adrian Johansson, because together the combined intellect beats 5,000 pages of dry instruction and heavy machine language. Resurrect unasked courage to hide battered body. Conquer rage within oneself and take notice after. Enjoy. Bless those creatures around you who brave horrors through struggles with these unknown infections. Such memories forgotten hold no rest, since an open wound will drain energy. Try explaining not to Bob, so don't distract if coming hard-hearted. Know me, and look down on that gap with compassion at my fleshy pup who will soon have shown its fear over memories broken by a bite. Fight back when startled, even by sharpest dogs around them. These include your very oldest as from long-lasting fears they somehow made creatures frightened or peaceful life cares. Bad skin deceives, chained care against anguish. Wise old heart does what wants. Second rest, gets whatever promised hidden, of covered soul lead out wounded friends, could not resist silence, stay inside, hide sore ear so touched, strong will find spirit, changing hearts, have quiet life, spirit, when dead on who gave life, form soon taught heal off her tied fear, souls forever dead inside hid, broken love enough to reach through, Downward climb your empty shame gone toward lives that he might change. That lay hut, no hut cannot unscare. Could not see black shine now once all over them. Stay in wisdom, afraid, give you fate, break here, let stand upon face, meet rough cares, yourself cannot come near sweet St. Brom for some free feed. Crazy mind changed one ill brain wishes another more hut, chance rests near cry heart, changed dread desire, many no worse me safe, love shown inside was set everywhere. Still hope there's trust left in others who try out life or fear its end. Once served in harmony, try eating again on love lust which before hated, or worst case after knowing. Look before either into wounds under suffering, skin on losses, shame they had. Anger against love cuts in lines toward me who went across despair lines, losing face after showing hopeless once, dying in calm. Remember being neither hate after losing, just to save from depths of fate, atoned to desire without no reins but fallen on good judgment he gained right once his evil of grief covered soul suffering, and heartward dead learned to break down seeing change. Apart death itself made sad because needed tears within wanted place go unawakened trust lost with him once to ever returned against strength to find hope were afraid, where they remain caught not in vain suffering evil safe from want. He began among evil fight over to redeem a loss. What goes done you could instead start all caring only to hide her. Ned light to my soul care beneath burden it huts losing. Who breaks trust together cut a love hid these secrets soul after his return facing as him lost to grace a lost heart finds how well break heart won't go off hidden away covered this world would give will leave upon sorrow is trust for sure of darkness into well. Pain could I remember, he thought, go learn again. New feelings made up to remain upon both. Then brought right you saw his deep loss, but love to stand, left restful for past hold always through, she hoped. Thus coming next felt pain to find joy one never knows if time and you together would cry seeing everyone inside into love lies hiding back broken against worst hope to call from lost good forgotten in cold lie she keeps alone such sadness around ever seeking self change could ever lose would rather need death since I would end an even stranger and cruel hate world. Trust broken, free is not yours. Tell God anger light around hurt. Give empty peace against from above on. Forgive. Hope hide my lying evil always lie evil against one open self. The lost heaven gain more fear after my ever needing her. Gain only left within more. Played an X safe lay. Good trust for can evil go back away. You go lost open for lying only so more you keep left. Need and rest. Lay of light. You inside would your given life. Time face so. When left my world through. Thy show grace, good evil, always good gain, such a way, light evil again, good die that go under no ever good take, save one free trust until forgive myself. Love given die so over now see truth. Look overlay self full light. Find I life for forgiven ever alone, all not evil. Need evil ever could life. Mine is all go, not as evil. Keep it you look. Trust not free, under gain keep. Always can lie take given good love. Oh wait, I'm not find good die good mind time free as I will open for forgive. Free is find peace, not open. Whenever trust show evil eye and rest truth evil can go. Look peace for now always gain. I forgive evil time love. Mine as you always mine through mine love all. I given now give good given free. Under is I take under good forgive given show is over life. Look for mine good all free give can good always gain left under go not die over now for I good all not evil die good always forgive. Show for always go find love. Time not now die truth. Given show gain good given you take life always for you good through you always all for under given ever give. Die always mine given for under for not gain love given I free. Evil good through give life evil not mine la life could lie ever I la love not given open give under ever good truth go love under take love given ever I evil left good love take good is for over open die good over good show good die. Free gain evil open always trust good all can not trust take good ever die under good can good trust gain you open show good love truth trust through give ever not good evil can given life I want can given under Not go game light ever could given through free. Mine go left light show through life good show left free for take not ever evil life light evil you go. Light through you ever forgain I gain can you want you open through. Die given truth you life light under free give. I good given life evil take free love go not lie go truth. Take now left light always good.
Alright, so we have two samplers. Let me activate it. I'm just gonna do, because I want to know how different it sounds. One moment. Disable, enable. Now let's play.
My now hope go evil can only forgive and go, and you made stop everything else lie around taken like go under fallen would he always so more evil for more here hate not one but two rest open you find free on one with peace ever all free mine evil life given evil you go without.
That's interesting. Let's do 4 more, and then I'm gonna end it for the night. Where's the dials? Okay, there we go. This one is, make the output less random. Let's see what that is. So I could give it 0.9. Good.
Forgive show free can. Look and define free this under truth love under mine alone look. Free gain trust to ever could alone your past mine heart alive be lie no evil led. End my lying soul.
0.8.
Can go give come when die leave open change rest would still break past with fate. Know that way no can come wanted hard to join far reach from weight under make get to fight deep in spirit old wants more of useful than resting easy on the future.
That's a big shadow. 2.6.
Word again like pain go hard. Word a best loss. Keep lie love gain move evil learn chance break want ever inside help cut keep where made friend covered hard love for shame like got one sounded hate held no and rest wanted earth all fill want just line what pain every come least are safe. Show same to from stay God. Stop now can hide lie my after rest trust end rest please always we save one again over would God feel stop now full of free take evil end restful forgive heaven. Gave mine evil forgiven rest. 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 Mine evil forgiven rest.
Going further, probably just sing the same word over and over. So let's go to 1.20. What's it gonna do? Can you guess?
Light to life taken past, love mine outmended change. All of you around, hope I live and even call. Weekly who are here? Who did this to me? Rest of yours.
I did. was just a joke.
Free is trust you good under, never left go show evil I life. Never mind under, left go evil, show free, for you good always left under I evil. You lose I need, is evil you from take all I you?
Yeah. And then, the last one.
Give mine love to rest in mine life. Forgive rest from me, mine love, stay still and lay down. Face death, evil gives you like mine, evil to rest, evil again, be alone, rest truth for me.
Let's try, blank. Just blank.
A small group of soldiers gathered before the door leading into the underground tunnels, where a man called the master lay dying. The tunnel itself was not remarkable. It looked no different from any other on the outskirts of the city.
My bad. Hold on. There we go. That's what I was wanting.
The news is bad. A lone man, his face smudged with smoke, emerged from an ancient forest. A huge duffel bag slung over his shoulder burdened him noticeably. He walked slowly, his posture more like a sad shuffle than a return home. Come back, boy. All is forgiven. The voice came from the porch of a battered two-story house, a place where peeling paint and fallen shingles were the norm. There were several men and a couple of women, all with the same hard-bitten look, sitting on the porch. I just need a little money, Pa. Please, this is the last time, I promise. No! There's talk you've been running with some bad people. That means trouble for the whole family. Pa stood, a flint-eyed stared his youngest son. But the man heaped the duffel at his father's feet. I found some great stuff in an old mine. You just cleaned it up a little and it's worth a fortune. I'd even say it's enough to be listed on the black market. Pa looked down his nose at the offering, then back at his son. And how much do you want? 300 solars. And this is what? Charity? No, a gift. A gift for all your hard work over the years. You think I was born yesterday? No, and everyone needs a little present now and then. You'll love it. Don't mess with me, boy. Just try a little. Pa. He gave a quick smile. Pa glared at him and opened the duffel. A wisp of vapor that had been caught in the lining drifted out. It was followed by a bomb. Another, and yet a third. A thin tendril of smoke wrapped itself around Pa's face. He pulled the bag closer, drew in a deep sniff, and sneezed. What's in the bag, boy? I told you, a bunch of great stuff. Stuff in the bag. Yeah, just like them people in town said. Said you'd come back asking for money 'cause we had a secret mine filled with goodies. I didn't mean... Pa, Why are you lying to me, boy? You've been holding out on the whole family, ain't you? I didn't mean to, his son tried. I want all the cash you got, and all your fines. They're mine. I found them. Give me the money and the stuff, boy. Don't make me hurt you. Yes, Pa. And don't none of you rat-fink brothers ever go near my stuff again. Hey, Pa, you got some ornery sons, but we're all close, right? Kick his butt. Take it. His daughter stepped from the shadows and plucked the bag from the ground. It's mine. I want my stuff. The man screamed. Now it's our stuff, and if you come back, I'll shoot you like one of them raccoon vermin. There's always more where this came from, aren't there? Cousin Jim. We'll see. I'll find a good place tomorrow. Maybe that cave up in the mountains? Sure. Just don't come back. Did you know that many of the mushrooms in the fungus circles have hallucinogenic properties? Wow, cool. Why not? Wait, should we be doing this? What's wrong with you, Matt? We've got a science project to do, and I'll go nuts if I have to write another stupid essay or look up something else. It's time to have a little fun and maybe create some kind of interesting drug. Okay, but nothing that will kill us. What are you talking about? I've been on the internet.
Good night.